Dalil number 2 is the hadith of Umar, where the Prophet says, "Man halafa bi ghayri Allah faqad kafara aw ashrak." And the dilala is pretty clear. Whoever takes an oath by other than Allah has fallen into shirk. And this basically hadith is considered to be sahih. It's been authenticated by Al-Hakim and also at-Tirmidhi. Dalil number 3 is the statement of Ibn Mas'ud, لأن أحلف بالله كاذبا أحب إلي من أن أحلف بغيره صادقا. So, to take an oath by Allah in a state of deception, while lying, this is known as al-yamin al-ghamus, the yamin, or an oath that causes the person to sink in sin, wal-'iyadhu billah, or to be engrossed in sin, then we know that this is major sin. This person hasn't fallen into shirk. But if a person takes an oath by other than Allah, even if they're being honest, even if they're being truthful, then this is worse than al-yamin al-ghamus, because this is now considered to be shirk. Okay, this particular athar by Ibn Mas'ud is considered to be munqati'. The chain of narrations is broken, which means that it is considered to be da'if. But the meaning is sahih, the meaning is correct, and there's nothing wrong with the meaning. Dalil number 4 is the hadith of Hudhayfa, where the Prophet ﷺ, he says, "La taqulu ma sha Allahu wa sha'a fulan." And the dilala is basically the prohibition of saying ma sha Allah wa sha'a fulan. If it wasn't for Allah and for you, this statement is strictly prohibited, because this statement has made an equal with Allah. By saying this, you have made an equal with Allah, or you have set up an equal with Allah. So that's why it's considered to be haram or prohibited. Dalil number 5 is the athar of Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, where basically he disliked, and we know that the karaha huna lit-tahrim, a karaha in the salaf lit-tahrim, we know that this is impermissible for a person to say, "A'udhu billahi wa bik," I seek refuge in Allah and in you. You should only say, "A'udhu billahi," I seek refuge in Allah. Naam. So this is strictly prohibited. So just to basically simplify and just summarize, shirk basically is the belief of equality. It is the belief of equality between the creator and the creation. Okay? It is to believe that the creation and the creator are equal. However, not every equality leads to major shirk. It can be minor shirk. So if you believe that they are both equal in every aspect, then it is considered to be major shirk. Okay? But if you believe that they are equal in some or particular aspects, then it is considered to be minor shirk, depending on what the aspect is. Do you all understand? So shirk is to believe in the equality between the creation and the creator. Okay? This equality can lead to major shirk, or it can lead to minor shirk, depending on the context. Okay? Depending on the context. So some of the masail, or the issues that the author mentions that can be benefited from, he says, الثانية, number 2, أن الصحابة يفسرون الآية النازلة في الشرك الأكبر أنها تعم الأصغر. He says that the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to consider verses that were about major shirk, that they used to consider that the verses about major shirk encompass minor shirk. Do you all understand? So even if the verse speaks about major shirk, they would use this verse to refute minor shirk. They wouldn't differentiate, they wouldn't distinguish. Okay? And the proof is the athar of Ibn Abbas. Look, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. This is about major shirk. But the examples that Ibn Abbas gives, are they major or minor? Huh? Minor. The examples are minor. Okay, the examples are minor. And what we benefit from is that if for example someone advises you about a particular issue, they see you making that you've erred in a particular mas'ala or issue, and they advise you, and they use a verse. For example, they tell you, they say, Ya akhi, mathalan, I saw that you said, MashaAllahu wa fulan. And I advise you not to say this because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. This person cannot tell you and say to you, Akhi, how can you, this verse is about major shirk. I haven't fallen into major shirk. How can you use a verse that was revealed in a context or was revealed to refute the mushrikun or the pagans on me? I pray, I give zakah, alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim, I say la ilaha illallah. Do you understand? This understanding is wrong. This person shouldn't use this analogy, or shouldn't rebuke your nasiha, shouldn't refute your nasiha or advice based on this. Okay? Because the Salaf, as the author says, they used to use verses that were about major shirk and use those similar verses, or those verses or similar to them, to refute basically minor shirk. So let us pray Salatul Asr, and then we will continue. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Before we begin or continue with Kitaab at-Tawheed, I would like to أريد أن أضرب لكم مثلا. Okay, I would like to strike a parable for you or give you an example which will help you when it comes to seeking knowledge, inshallah. Imagine when someone is ill, when someone is physically sick, physically ill, they go to a doctor. So when they get to the doctor or they go to see their GP, the GP usually prescribes some medicine for them. So the GP gives them, let's say for example, a pill or a drug, and tells them to take 2 tablets every day for 10 days. And then after 5 days, this person takes 2 tablets every day for 5 days, and they feel good, they feel a bit better. They're not completely healed or cured, but they feel a bit better. So they come back to their GP after 5 days and they say to their GP, listen, I feel good. Can I take 3 pills a day and increase the dosage so that I feel even better and quicker? I hasten my recovery. What do you think the GP will say to this person, usually? What do you think they'll say to this person? Do you think they'll let them take 3 or 4 pills, or even maybe 5 pills? Or tell them to stick to 2 pills? Huh? Stick to 2 pills, correct? Because if they increase the dosage, then what could happen, what usually happens, and what will probably happen, is that they will become ill again, or they could develop some side effect, or something could go wrong, correct? Yeah? So if that's the case, when it comes to a doctor who's healing the body, why do I see always students or some brothers asking questions about particular masail or issues they have no need of? They don't need to particularly know this issue, when I've specifically told them to do this and that. You have to trust me, brothers. Okay? If you don't trust your teacher, then you shouldn't be sitting in front of that teacher. Simple. think of not myself, but think of our scholars as atibba'ul qulub, as the doctors or the healers of our hearts. Just like a doctor heals the body or tries to cure the body, our ulama, alhamdulillah, have prescribed certain techniques for us when it comes to seeking knowledge. There's a method that you follow. Some of you, I notice that some of you are probably in WhatsApp groups, or they are on they have Facebook or whatever, or Twitter, and they come across a fa'idah or a benefit or whatever from some random stranger, and automatically you see them, mashallah, then propagating it to someone else. Or if they don't understand a particular thing in that message, or they don't trust the source, they send it to someone else. They send it to a student of knowledge and say, can you authenticate this for me? Why? Why would you even bother? Why take it from them in the first place? Why do you become distracted so easily? Why do you become sidetracked so easily? Ilm, knowledge, there's a way of learning and seeking knowledge. من استعجل شيئا قبل أوانه عوقب بحرمانه. Whoever hastens or tries to hasten the end result of something, then this person could be punished by being denied the fruits of that thing in the first place. You have to memorize Al-Quran Al-Kareem. Memorize the Quran. These issues, all these fawaid and benefits that you see in your WhatsApp groups, this hadith that is mentioned by Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, how do you know there's not a problem with the hadith, or this person hasn't basically لم ينقل الحديث نقلا جيدا, this person hasn't transmitted the hadith properly. There's a problem. I'll give you an example of the dangers of basically taking knowledge from these groups or from social media, generally speaking. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Man taraka al-mira'a wa huwa muhiq, bana Allahu lahu baytan fi rabat al-jannah." Okay? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, fi riwayah fi wasat al-jannah. Whoever abandons quarreling, abandons argumentation, although this person is upon the haqq or upon the truth. Someone sent this hadith and translated it in a different way, in a wrong way. This person said, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever man taraka al-mira'a, whoever abandons argumentation, although they are wrong instead of right. See, there's a difference there. One lafz was missing. And then this person goes and obviously propagates this hadith. And then people take this and then they propagate it further. وهكذا. Do you understand? So some of you have noticed you become sidetracked very easily. You want to learn everything all at once. You see a fa'idah, a hadith, mathalan, and you want to memorize it there and then. You see something else, you want to memorize it there and then. If you go down that path, you will be muthaqqaf. You'll just be someone who has general knowledge, not a student of knowledge. A student of knowledge lahu ta'sil. A student of knowledge has asl. He has at-ta'sil al-ilmi. He knows the foundations of knowledge. Not just some fawaid here and there. You will be like someone who hasn't even built their house and are trying to buy the curtains to that house. You haven't even built your house. Why are you buying the curtains to your house and the couch and the furniture when there's no wall, there's no roof, there are no bricks? Your house doesn't even exist. So you going and taking these masail, these fawaid, and trying to memorize them, and then distracting and busying other people by telling them to authenticate this for you, you're just wasting your time. تضيع وقت. This is not how the ulama and the scholars learnt knowledge. You have to actually sit down and memorize. It takes effort. You have to sit down, memorize the Quran, memorize the mutun, al-mutun al-ilmiya, shay'an fa shay'an, not all at once. Every day one verse, every day a couple of verses, depending on your strength of memory. That's how you attain knowledge. You attain knowledge through al-mutun al-ilmiya, nothing else. Otherwise, you will just be someone who has general knowledge. You will be someone who is nisfu faqih, nisfu nahwi, nisfu kada. You won't have any ta'sil ilmi. You'll have some fawaid here and there. You'll have some fa'idah from usul al-fiqh, another fa'idah from fiqh, Another fa'idah from Nahu. So anyone who listens to you will actually think, mashallah, this person is very strong. But in reality, lasta ala shay. You're not strong. You're upon, you have built for yourself baytan awhan min bayt al-ankabut. You have built for yourself a house which is more fragile than the house of a spider web. Do you know what a spider web is? A spider web, يعني the slightest wind, anything can destroy a spider web. That's what you are building for yourself. Okay, so don't become distracted with issues with masail or what's the ruling on this, unless it is something that's connected to your ibadah, your worship, something that you actually need to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, something that really touches you, like you have to know this right now for you to be able to worship Allah. But if it's something فائدة هكذا, something comes to your head, anything comes to your head, you want to know the answer. Why do you think, do you know how many times the companions of the Prophet ﷺ asked the Prophet a question in the Quran? Does anyone know the answer to this? 14 times. يسألونك عن الأنفال يسألونك عن الأهلة ويستفتونك في النساء قل الله يفتيك والآيات. They ask you about this. How many verses are there in the Quran where Allah says, يسألونك, oh Muhammad, they ask you? The companions of the Prophet ﷺ. Do you think that every time they had a question in their head, they would run to the Prophet ﷺ and ask him? Why do you think the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, their questions were so minute? They didn't really ask a lot of questions. Why? Because they were too busy learning to ask questions. I'm not saying that you shouldn't ask questions, but you should pick and choose your questions wisely. You should take the time and the effort to actually word your question properly, and also ask yourself, what am I benefiting really from this question? Islam, as a student of knowledge, your job isn't just to basically, to find out the answer to every nitty-gritty detail out there. That's not your job. Your job is umumat. Your job is to have general knowledge of the mutun. You have to have knowledge of fiqh. How do you have knowledge of fiqh? By going back to the al-mutun al-ilmiyya. Knowledge of al-aqidah, by actually memorizing. How many masail do we come across in Kitaab at-Tawheed? How many? Hundreds, thousands of issues in masail that are very important. Have you mastered all of these masail, or all of these issues for you to talk about, to ask about questions that you really shouldn't be asking about at this stage of your seeking knowledge, of your talab? No. So don't be like that patient who goes to the doctor and asks for the doctor to increase his dosage of the pills just because he's feeling a bit better. So just because now, alhamdulillah, you have the zeal of seeking knowledge and you feel good, you're seeking, you feel like you're benefiting from مثلا Kitaab at-Tawheed or Manhaj al-Salikin or any of the other books that you study, doesn't mean that you should go and ask about every minute detail. Think about it. Why are you asking this question? What are you going to benefit from this? Is the answer to this question going to help you become a better worshipper to Allah? Is the answer to this question going to help you come closer to Allah? If the answer is yes, then by all means, ahlan wa sahlan, ask. If the answer is no, then you don't need to know the answer to this. Probably even if you were told the answer, in a year's time, you won't even remember in a year's time anyway. You just have wasted your time and the time of the person that you are asking that question to. So this is just a general nasiha that I wanted to give you, inshallah. Let's continue. Chapter 43. He says, Bab. Yeah. Okay. It's the sisters. Yeah. What's the brothers to this one? No, actually it's the brothers. Yeah, but I'm gonna need for you to get back home. Yeah. I don't have it. I've got one of the students closing. I can ask him to remain. No, I'm gonna need that over for you. This will So chapter 43, باب ما جاء في من لم يقنع بالحلف بالله. Chapter pertaining to the one who is not satisfied with and the oath taken by with an oath. Chapter pertaining to the one who isn't satisfied when an oath is taken by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or when an oath is taken by someone, an oath which the person is taking an oath by Allah, a person who isn't satisfied when basically when someone takes an oath by Allah, they're not satisfied with this particular oath. What's the ruling on this? عن ابن عمر رضي الله تعالى عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا تحلفوا بآبائكم من حلف بالله فليصدق ومن حلف له بالله فليرضى ومن لم يرضى فليس من الله. رواه ابن ماجه بسند حسن. This is the only hadith or dalil in the chapter. Ibn Umar, he says that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا تحلفوا بآبائكم, do not take an oath by your fathers. من حلف بالله فليصدق, whoever takes an oath by Allah, let him be truthful. ومن حلف له بالله فليرضى, and whoever causes someone to take an oath by Allah, then let this person be sufficed with this oath. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَرْضَى فَلَيْسَ مِنَ اللَّهِ, and whoever isn't suffice or who isn't happy with this oath, فَلَيْسَ مِنَ اللَّهِ, then he is not from Allah. The maqsood of this tarjama basically is to clarify the ruling on the person who isn't sufficed with an oath taken by Allah, who isn't sufficed with an oath that is halaf billah, who isn't sufficed when someone takes an oath by Allah. And basically what is the ruling on this? He mentions one dalil, the hadith لا تحلفوا بآبائكم, and the dilala is in the hadith, is in the statement of the Prophet ﷺ where he says وَمَنْ حُلِفَ لَهُ بِاللَّهِ فَلْيَرْضَى وَمَنْ حُلِفَ لَهُ بِاللَّهِ فَلْيَرْضَى. Whoever causes someone to make an oath or to take an oath by Allah, فَلْيَرْضَى, then let this person be happy with this. Let this person be sufficed with this. And also the hadith says وَمَنْ لَمْ يَرْضَى فَلَيْسَ مِنَ اللَّهِ, meaning that Allah is free of this person. That Allah is free of this person. Allah, basically this is a form of punishment for this person. So this is a person who causes someone to take an oath by Allah, or doesn't even cause someone. Someone says Wallahi ya akhi, this happened, and this person doesn't believe this, the one taking the oath. He doesn't believe him or her. Okay, the ruling on this person that this is a deficiency in Tawheed, and this causes basically Allah to be free of this person. So the question now is, why is this impermissible? Is this impermissible? Is this impermissible because of the oath taker? Is this impermissible because of the subject of the oath? Is it impermissible because of the wording of the oath? Why is it impermissible? This is called manatul hukum. The hukum is connected, the tahrim or the impermissibility is connected to what aspect? Okay, this is a question. Do you all understand? So why is it impermissible? The answer to this, basically we have three things here. We have number one, al-halifu, the oath taker. This is the first aspect, the oath taker. Okay, do we look at the oath taker? Do we look at whether the oath taker is someone righteous, unrighteous, someone good, someone bad? Do we look at the oath taker? Okay, that's the first thing we have. The second is mahlufun alayhi, the subject of the oath. The subject of the oath. Okay, and number three, mahlufun bihi, what's known as the guarantor of the oath. Do you understand? The guarantor of the oath. So مثلا, if I say Wallahi ما ذهبت إلى مكة أمس. Okay, So I say, Wallahi, I didn't go to Mecca yesterday. Okay, so who's the oath taker? I'm the oath taker. Then the next thing is the subject of the oath. What is the subject of this oath? Going to Mecca. Okay, and number 3, the guarantor of the oath. Mahlufun bihu. Who's the guarantor of the oath? Allah. Do you understand? So the hukum, the impermissibility, is connected to which one? Is it connected to the oath taker, the subject of the oath? Yani, meaning, should we look at the oath taker before we believe this person?
Yes.
Do you understand? Should we look at the... Why do you say yes?
Is he trustworthy? To see if he's trustworthy, like if he...
So you're saying that if someone is basically a fasiq, and they say, Wallahi, we can't trust them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, something like that. But,
What's the ruling? Why? Can anyone help the brother? Is that the case? No, that's not the case. Okay? And I'll tell you why. So we have the oath taker. Yani, do we look at the person telling the oath? Do we look at the fisq of the person, the ta'a of the person, who the person is? And then if the person, we don't trust the person, we don't believe them. Is that the case? Or do we look at the subject of the oath? Do we look at what the oath is about? Is the fact here, in this case, it's about Makkah. Do you understand? Or it could be anything. Or do we look at the wallah of the part, the guarantor of the oath? Yani if they take an oath by Allah, we trust them. If they take an oath by other than Allah, we don't trust. Yani hakada. So the scholars, rahimahumullah ta'ala, they say that basically the manatul hukum basically is the actual subject of the oath. لا عفوا لا, that's a mistake, sorry. The manatul hukum, the impermissibility, is connected to the actual the guarantor. Okay, the impermissibility is connected to the guarantor, meaning that we believe them because they took an oath by Allah, not because of the subject of the oath and not because of the oath taker. Is that understood? So it's basically you are glorifying the name of Allah. Because they said Allah, Wallahi, now you stop. This should be sufficient for you. This should be sufficient for you to believe that person. If they are lying, and in kadhibu, if they are lying, then the ithm and the sin is upon them. It's between them and Allah. But you, because now you've believed them, because they have taken an oath by Allah, it's required for you to be sufficed with that particular oath. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-bayyinatu ala al-mudda'i wal-yaminu ala man ish, ala man ankar. Al-bayyinatu ala al-mudda'i wal-yaminu ala man ankar. The onus of proof is upon the claimant, and the oath, al-yamin, is upon the one who denies. Al-yaminu ala man ankar. There's one issue remaining, which is some people basically, when they say statements that are similar to an oath, but in reality it's not an oath. So they say, for example, especially some Arabs, they say, مثلا, they say, في عيالي مثلا أني ما فعلت كذا وكذا. في عيالي أني ما فعلت كذا وكذا. يعني by my my children, I did not say this. And their intention isn't to take an oath by their children, but their intention here is, Wallahi, if I'm lying, may Allah destroy my children, مثلا. Or مثلا, they say